Well, hello and welcome to the Marines podcast with me, Samuel Minta Eyim. This week's focus is on piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. Well, this is the Marines podcast on Odomankoma, and you can follow it every Monday on this YouTube channel and also other medias we will be providing later to give you where you can find this podcast to have a listen every Monday as we give you the very best information when it comes to the marine environment. So this week we are looking at piracy in the Gulf of Guinea, and we'll be looking at what piracy is in general and then looking at cases in the Gulf of Guinea which has been classified as a hotspot for pirate attacks in the world. Well, speaking of piracy, it is an issue that has been plaguing the maritime industry and the Gulf of Guinea in particular over the years. And when we speak about this Gulf of Guinea, we call it the epicenter. Generally, the Gulf of Guinea, we are looking at the waters of the West African region. And this place has been termed by the International Chamber of Commerce as a hotspot for pirate attacks. One of the reasons for this is the statistics that speaks about these attacks that occur within this area, making this area generally unsafe when it comes to the maritime industry for various reasons. Some of them includes kidnapping as well as seizure of vessels and all that. So in terms of its location, we could look at it in the sense of when you move from somewhere around the West African line, you could look at Nigeria, Ghana, Benin, Togo, as well as the Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Liberia, these stretch of countries and all that making up the Gulf of Guinea region. And it is a region that is noted to be a hotspot. Hotspot in the sense that most of the pirate attacks recorded globally occurs within this region. To put this in context, earlier this year, the International Chamber of Commerce reported that 43% of all reported pirate incidents occurred in the Gulf of Guinea. When we talk about 43%, we are talking about more than a third of all pirate attacks occurring within the Gulf of Guinea waters. That is close to half of all cases of pirate attacks occur within the Gulf of Guinea waters. The reason why this is quite alarming is that when you compare the Gulf of Guinea waters to the global ocean or even to all coastal states where you would say that vessels are getting into various coastal waters or the exclusive economic zones of various coasts in order to arrive in the harbor and all that, when you look at all these, the Gulf of Guinea does not come anywhere close in terms of percentages, but most of these pirate incidents is occurring within the Gulf of Guinea, making it extra alarming because if you have more incidents occurring in a water space that does not compare in terms of percentages, in the sense that the Gulf of Guinea does not get to 10% of these global coastal waters. However, you have 43% of incidents of pirate attacks occurring in there. And it is not just an issue of they attacking vessels and taking over vessels, but there have also been 40 crew members that have been kidnapped in the zone. Surprisingly, none has been reported outside of the Gulf of Guinea. So this makes it extra alarming. It makes it one thing that we have to look at closely because it is consistent and going on for several years, and it is something that should not be. To put this in context, the area of Nigeria is leading in terms of this reportage. Also, the place of Benin has also received some of these cases. Togo and Ghana too have received some of these cases. But I want to throw extra spotlight on the case of Ghana and what it really means. But before we get into that bit, let's look at what this implies. Pirate attacks, what do they really imply? It implies that it is unsafe for seafarers. It could also cause financial losses to shipping lines and businesses, because unsafe for seafarers in the sense that when someone is going to sea and knows that the probability of me being attacked when I get to this region is high, most often we tend to avoid it. But what if you work for a fishing vessel or you work for an industry or a shipping line that transport goods through this region? You cannot avoid it, and therefore you go into these zones with some level of risk, so you put your life at stake, which is not the best. So financial loss to shipping lines and businesses is because they are bringing in goods through these areas and run the risk of being attacked by pirates and pirates taking over. Also, fishing vessels fishing within these areas could lose all the days or the weeks activities that they've been gathering fish and all that to these pirates that take over their vessels and all that. So as the humans are unsafe in these areas, also the goods are also not safe because it leads to the goods being taken over by these people. So you lose millions and millions of dollars or euros or pounds or cedis, whichever one that you work in, lose this amount of money, which is not the best and which does not make things good for companies or the individuals that work for the company. Already there is a reported global delay in cargo delivery in most countries because of shipping channels closing in some places, among other reasons. However, when you put all these delays also in the context of the Gulf of Guinea, see, for instance, let's say goods are coming in from the US or from China, and as they are being transported, already there's been a delay. So Christmas is going to get late for some people, only for the vessels to get to the zone of the Gulf of Guinea, or let's maybe precisely say, let's say Ghana. And when it gets there, these individuals or these pirates take over this vessel. That means that the goods, even if they are going to be restored, will take an extra bit of time to get it to the site, and so Christmas would be late for some people when such a thing happens, especially in these final months of the year. It's not all doom though. There is some light that we've been seeing, and there are some good news coming in and good reports coming in, because just this past week there was a report that the Ghana Armed Forces were able to prevent or avert a pirate attack on a fishing vessel, and this was done precisely by the Navy Division of the Ghana Armed Forces. So they put out a press release giving out details of this information, or telling the general public that yes, indeed, there was a pirate attack on one of these vessels, but then the Navy came in and they were able to avert this pirate attack on this fishing vessel. And this has not been done out of nothingness. It has come as a result of the Navy doubling its patrol team within the area. So it has come at, let's say, extra manpower being implemented, and extra mobility and extra patrols being put in place to ensure that eyes are everywhere to be able to help with these kind of things. Well, how can these things be kept aside putting patrol teams to be moving within some spaces within the local waters and all that? One way is through satellite imagery, and over the past few years we've seen how synthetic aperture radar, a particular instrument used on satellite images, allows for some of these things to be monitored, so the vessels can be tracked, the motion or movement of vessels can be tracked. And also, so when you have this motion of vessels, you can spot vessels on the local, let's say, waters of a particular country. Then you could just oppose it with the direction of one particular vessel against another. So let's say you have a fishing vessel that has fished tuna that is coming into the waters of Ghana. You could track its motion and its line of travel, and then you could see also the line of travel, or you could predict the line of travel of another vessel, and you could tell if that vessel is heading for this fishing vessel. And if it's heading for that fishing vessel, is it a licensed vessel? If it's a licensed vessel, what do they do? If it's not a licensed vessel, it could be that pirates are getting in the line of this fishing vessel to take over. So there is this synthetic aperture radar that is being used on satellite to monitor some of these things, and there is a lot of work being done in this field, especially along West Africa. The work that is being done by the GMS group, which is into monitoring and giving kind of predictions of how the local waters will be and all that. Some of their scientists are able to tease out these satellite images and to show the fishing vessels and the areas they were moving and all that. But to monitor it for pirate attacks will mean that there should be a satellite that is consistently monitoring this Gulf of Guinea zone, that gives a better chance of monitoring some of these things and being able to rightfully detect them and to be able to curb or avert this pirate attack on most vessels within the Gulf of Guinea. Well, the issue of piracy and pirate attacks within the Gulf of Guinea is one that I could spend hours and hours trying to talk about and trying to give all the possible solutions to them and all the detailed statistics of what goes on within these places, some of which could be looked at in terms of the country by numbers. So which country's waters is contributing the most within the Gulf of Guinea, among other things. And we could look at this and go over and over and what the governments are doing to ensure that these coastal waters are safe for seafarers and also for maritime business companies and industries as well. But time will not permit that, so this is where I ended for today. This has been the Marines podcast with me, Samuel Mintayim. You can access this podcast every Monday on this very YouTube channel. Also, if you want to get interactive, it's Samuel Mintayim on Facebook. Also on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Eyiminta, or even on LinkedIn, there's Samuel Minta Eyim. Let's get interactive and let's talk about the marine industry. So till same time next week as we meet here again on the Odomankoma YouTube channel. My name is Samuel Minta Eyim. See you next time.